Heyo, MLB Data Warehouse podcast. Week 2, we're probably still in week 1 of scoring. I imagine that was probably across the board. No fantasy leagues wrapped up a week yet, but doesn't matter for certain leagues. But anyway,
no, that's not true.
No.
I had a 3-game week. Very interesting.
On what site?
Actually, it was on Yahoo, and it happened to be on one of my sites that I play with my friends at work. So
could you change the setting? I wonder they just forgot.
We could. We just were like,
yeah.
Let's just see how it plays out. So.
Last year they did that. ESPN wouldn't even give you the option because there was that. There'll probably be a problem next year too, because I imagine they're going to go back to the international series.
Yeah.
But last year they played the games like 10 days ahead of schedule in Japan, and they were regular season, so the scoring period was like 3 games. It was so dumb, but avoided it this year. But yeah, week 2 waivers. Shout out to us. We had some winners from last week. It was a little, we patched it together. We're a little bit more prepared this week. Still not much data to go off of, especially hitter wise. Like every reaction is an overreaction. I mean, the most we have is like 40 plate appearances or 2 starts. But we're getting close.
We love those small samples.
Yeah, that's that's all you have to go off of. I guess you should still just be, if you need to evaluate a guy, just like look at the projection still rather than what he's done in the first week. But last week, we said Jake Bauers. I guess that was before Andrew Vaughn got hurt, so we got a little bit lucky there. But 6 RBIs since we said that name, right?
Mm-hmm. Good.
Dominic Canzone. Still probably not useful in weekly leagues where you take all those zeros when there's a lefty. But Dominic Smith, even the deep league, like what are we? The reachiest reach we had hit a grand slam. Was it the same day?
Followed up right that night after we recorded. He hit the grand slam to win the game.
But nobody was able to get to him. We were too late still, even though we said it ahead of time. Jose Soriano, 12 scoreless innings. I think that's what it is to start the year. It's gonna happen pretty soon where he gives up 9 hits and 6 earned runs.
Walks 6.
Yeah. That's what he does. He entices you in with some outings like that. I mean, that guy has seemingly a handful of like 7 scoreless outings every year, but then the ERA is not going to be good unless maybe. I don't know. Maybe something's different. Maybe the stuff's a little bit better and it'll work because their defense isn't any better. I don't think that was a concern, but I think some of that stuff overstated anyway. Carmen Luginski made a start, looked better than I thought he would. 85 pitches, got through the order 2.5 times or something like that. Didn't get in trouble. So
8 strikeouts, no walks.
Yeah. Oh, that's the most important thing you can see. Speaking of small samples, so I guess we're still kind of on most of those guys, but we got some other names. We'll point out the miss. Jordan Romano.
We said stay away.
Still not long-term feeling good about it, but 2 saves is a pretty nice start. That could help. So we're going to split into shallower leagues and deeper leagues as usual, and we will also split by hitters and pitchers. Don't quite have a name at every position, I don't think. But at the end, we'll go through and give a bunch of like rapid fire names based on some query results. So start with shallow hitters here. Just like real quick, if Ezequiel Tovar is unowned, I mean, I guess like a 10-team league, maybe still it's okay to not, but he's hitting. Like we qualified the small sample thing, and now we're going to go talk about, like, I'm going to mention small sample. What am I going to do? Just like, I say every player, like, well, this doesn't matter, so let's not even talk about it. But what do you think about Ezequiel Tovar? I mean, he should be a little bit more than this ownership, right?
The good news is that he's headed for home.
Yes.
They'll be playing 3 games here this week, and I think they got 3 games next week as well at home. So business should pick up for Tovar and a number of those Rockies players, but they did maybe play a little better than I expected over the first week or so. So.
Yeah, it is the Coors thing doesn't really kick in until they actually have to go up the mountain. I don't know. Like, maybe they would just be significantly better on the road if they never had to go home. But yeah, Tovar is hitting 296, and he's got a couple barrels and a homer, so he can do things. I liked him before. Like, I'm just going to tell you guys that I liked beforehand, that I still like, but this is just too low ownership for Tovar. But in Tovar fashion, he has a 26% K rate and 0 walks. So still, maybe that's the reason. Maybe just 40% of leagues are OBP, and you were wise
Yeah,
anyway. Yeah.
he's definitely not your OBP kind of guy.
Caleb Durbin, really slow start. Does he have a hit yet?
I don't know. I think he's 0 for the season.
19 plate appearances, 0 hits. He got on base once. It was a walk, so not a good start. And he's doesn't have an iron grip on that third base spot in Boston. You wouldn't say, but people are definitely, I'm guessing he was 70% owned or something at the beginning, and now people are kind of jumping off. But it's too early to jump off, guys. That's kind of the point.
Well, and he has multiple position eligibility in a lot of places where he's good at second and third. So, if you can hang in there and fill in for him to make up for this super slow start, you definitely want to hold on to him.
And the main reason to have Caleb Durbin was steals, and obviously he hasn't stolen a base yet because he's been on base one time. So
yes,
nobody will hit. He's got a 0 BABIP that won't stay for long. And
it's going to go higher.
Yes. Bet the over.
I'm lock that in.
0 BABIP. So some steals will come, but he'll have to probably pick it up soon to keep the everyday job because there was definitely competition there. Carter Jensen, I think it's a slow start for him as well. The Royals are going to play another game here before anybody listens to this, but Jensen 5 games start. That's the good news, right? Started every game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's getting the playing time.
125 average. Hit a home run. Guess I missed that. I don't remember that one. 44% K rate though, so striking out a bit. But we kind of knew that was going to happen. Most power hitters, especially younger guys, have some strikeout stuff, and we just think he has enough power. And again, this is a guy everybody was hyping up before the season as a sleeper catcher. So if you're in a league where only 10, 12 catchers are actually started, maybe you don't have to do it yet. But any kind of 15-team league or 2-catcher league, if somebody bails, I think you should jump right back in on that. Were you a Jensen guy?
I was a Jensen guy. I did realize that his magical end of season last year was not going to happen at the beginning of this year. Yeah. So I was spending most of my offseason trying to trade him, hoping that somebody was like, oh, look at those numbers. But I didn't get as many bites as I was hoping for. So I've got him on my roster. Luckily, I have other choices generally wherever I have him. But yeah, I think he's a guy that I might actually be interested in targeting for trades, because if you were somebody that had him and then he's been playing not so great, now might be the time to try to get a little buy low, because he's got a big future.
Yeah, and if nothing else, he's going to have some big weeks, big months with the talent he has. And then, but yeah, redraft leagues, maybe you don't have to do it because the catcher is pretty deep. Nolan Shanwell, I threw this on there. Here's your opposite of Tovar. Not a lot of strikeouts, but a good amount of walks, bunch of base hits. He's also swinging the bat significantly harder. Again, we said the same thing last year. His bat speed went up, but then it went up even more this year. And he's got 2 home runs. I don't know. He's slugging 500, only a 13% K rate. He's got as many walks as strikeouts. Just a very disciplined hitter. Team context sucks, but 2 home runs, that's a fifth of the way to his projection, I think.
I think people underprojected his power, because I think people don't remember the fact that he was up the same year that he got drafted. So while he was a college player and maybe not so young, he was young in terms of having professional experience. So I do expect him to flirt with 20 home runs this year, which would make him pretty solid player to pick. Probably going to hit about 280 with 20 home runs. I could live with that.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And I guess maybe this should have gone in the deep league category. I don't think you need Shanwell in a 10-team league or something like that. But again, the main problem with him, we're gearing this toward OBP leagues or points leagues, right? That's where he's valuable. And even in a 12-team points league, I think he's probably going to get there. And the problem was that he might only hit 8, 10, 12 home runs, but it looks like he could hit more. He's grown in that regard every year so far, short sample. But again, you're right. Got called up super young, super quick. So the development it'll be a little more stretched out or a little bit slower. So Nolan Shanwell there, if you need a first baseman, another first baseman, but also a guy at third, Miguel Vargas, whatever, just solid, plays every day. I think. Does he play every day?
He is. Yeah. He's playing a lot for them, mostly at third base at the moment, although he is playing some first base. And he's a guy that I like. I have him in a lot of my Iola only games. So
Yeah.
Got him last year when he was still coming up and he was still a maybe. So um, he's a guy who is again improving. Was just awful after the Dodgers traded him to the White Sox.
Yeah.
Last year, a significant step forward, and this year, hoping to see another step forward as he increases his hopefully batting average, which has been was pretty good in the minors, but is just terrible in the majors. So uh, we'll see.
Yeah, Miguel Vargas hitting right around the sluggers. He has hit third, first, fifth, and fifth. They have not seen a lefty yet, though. That's interesting. 5 games without seeing a lefty, but Vargas is one of their main guys, and he's not going to win the league for you. You're not going to be so excited at the end of the week about what Miguel Vargas did, but he's not going to kill you either. And little grand slam to start the year shows you what being up in that up in that lineup can do. It's a pretty good OBP top of the lineup, right? I mean, Chase Meadroth can get on base a bit. He doesn't strike out at least. Murakami looks like a very high walk rate guy. Montgomery looks like a higher walk rate guy as well. So there'll be some ducks on the pond for Vargas, and kind of 12-team league consideration. Brett Beatty, I am going to look at the lineup thing for him because he was right in the lineup every day starting out. I think he got 1 day off now for the Mets, but he's hit 6th, 5th, and he even made a start on the 30th against lefty Kyle Leahy. I don't know if the numbers are quite there yet, but the most important thing for me, I liked Beatty's power and I like the improvements and a lot of the underlying numbers from last year. It was just like, are they really going to commit to him? And so far, it looks like the answer is mostly yes. He hasn't rewarded them much yet. Only a 522 OPS, no homers, but it's a good spot to be in the Mets lineup.
The Mets commitment to him is very interesting because it feels like they spent the entire offseason trying to figure out how they could not play Brett Beatty.
Yeah.
They started off, you were like, oh, he's going to be their second baseman. And then the first thing they do is get Marcus Semien. You're like, oh, I guess he's going to be the third baseman. And next thing you know, they're signing Bo Bichette. You're like, oh, maybe he's going to play first base. And then they get Jorge Polanco. And you're like, where the heck is Brett Beatty going to play? And that's when I got off him and traded him to get Dylan Beavers, which hasn't worked out for either one of us so far. But we'll see. I'm a little surprised that they threw him out in the outfield. Obviously, it's brand new for him. He has been mostly a third baseman throughout his minor league and major league career. Played a little bit of second base. So, but they got holes out there in the outfield. So we'll see. This is also very interesting that they started him against a lefty because that is not his cup of tea.
Yeah, against lefties since last year, 84 plate appearances, a 372 slug, 3 homers, 24% K rate. The Ks really aren't a huge issue. 25% K rate overall since last year. 260 XBA, 338 expected WOBA, 12.5% barrel rate. So it's got power, and the power will be driving in runs in a very good Mets lineup. So also the eligibility, it says 3B outfield here. That comes from DraftKings, I think, or something like that. But he's 2B, 3B in a lot of places, which is very nice to have. Colt Keith also. It's hard to know what position and what ownership sources to use and stuff. So this might not all exactly match what you're looking at. But Keith off to a good start this year. Just another none of these guys save maybe Jensen. Oh, we skipped over Owen Casey. We'll go back to him, but. My Beatty, Vargas, Keith, Shanaway recommendations are just don't expect a ton, but they're pretty safe, and they're just maybe a little bit undervalued right now because they're a little bit boring. But Colt Keith hitting 364, 325 expected batting average, hitting the ball really well. No homers yet, but a 12.5% barrel rate. So just a younger player again. This is a guy that got extended and was brought up pretty young, right? I don't know.
And he was definitely a prospect that people were interested in. Again, the power has always been, will he get to it? Again, I don't know that he will, and it's going to be very difficult to do it there at Comerica Park there in Detroit. It usually is a killer for home runs. So, but again, he's multi-positional eligible. Most places you would go see. He is getting playing time. He's usually at the top of the lineup or close to it, but he does have platoon splits that'll put him on the bench every now and then. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's even let off 2 times in a row now against right-handed pitchers. They have Tigers haven't seen a lefty yet either. They've seen Pivetta, Vasquez, Soroka, Fott, and Gallen. But Keith is in the top 3 every time. and just looks like a very solid hitter. No steals really, and limited home run numbers, but batting average and counting stats can be pretty nice. Oh, and Casey, man, the Marlins I think they lead the league in runs early on. Helps when you face the Rockies and the White Sox to start the year.
I guess so.
But Owen Casey has made one start against a lefty. That was opening day. Yes, against Cal Freeland. And then I think they faced another lefty where he didn't play. But against righties, he has hit sixth. And, the power has shown. He had a walk-off home run.
He did.
I think that was like a pinch hit thing, so you probably didn't even have him in your lineup in some cases. But a 20% barrel rate, one home run, a 300 XBA, a 383 expected WOBA out of the gate for Casey. So it's a situation where he's might be a halftime player against lefties. Maybe they'll try to get him there, but it's probably not a guy that will make use the 6 starts a week. And even if he is in there against lefties, it's probably not going to go super well. But
at least he's not as buried as he was with the Cubs. But the open play every day doesn't seem to be available at the moment. So we'll see where it goes. There's a lot of Marlin players that are sort of in that. How much playing time are they going to get, and trying to figure it all out there.
Yeah, the exit velos have been. Not a surprise. He hits the ball very hard. 112 max already this year. 109.8 90th. A little too early to look at that stuff, but Kyle Teal's the last guy here. His position is wrong on the screen. Little Excel error. He's a catcher, which I think if you're listening to a waiver wire fantasy baseball podcast, you probably can forgive us for that. But yeah, he should be coming back from the IL. And if you need a catcher, he was a breakout pick beforehand. I liked him. I don't know if he's a top 10 guy, but
played for Team Italy in the WBC and against the United States team, the surprising Italian win. He did injure himself, injured his hamstring, not while catching, while running the bases.
Hitting a double. I think he homered in that game too.
Yeah. They were saying 4 to 6 weeks. That was an injury that happened on March 10th. So we are 3 weeks in, probably at most another 3 weeks, given that he's a catcher. They might want to give him a little extra time with that leg injury. But it's not like Edgar Cuellar is really running with the catching position there. I'm pretty sure the White Sox want Teal in there as much as possible. And he will get some time at DH. Another guy that's a strong OBP guy. And maybe on this entire list might be the guy with the highest upside. I can see him as a top 10 or better catcher by the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Like I have my home league team's 10-team league. I stashed Teal just because why not in the draft? Like there's a bunch of IL slots. But I took Shea Langoliers, so I guess I just dropped Teal when he comes up. But should we look at like some struggling catch? Let's try to play a little. Let me pull something up here. We'll pull up the current player rater for catchers. Basically, so like when Teal's back, do you take Teal or Adley Rutschman? That's kind of close. Right?
That's a close one there. I mean, Rutschman at least has started decently this year. Having lived through last year, I don't know. I'm a little scarred on Adley.
Yeah. I mean, the guys are clearly ahead of. I should have planned this at a time, but like the guys, let's see are there 10 guys clearly ahead of Kyle Teal? Because I think a lot of people are going to ask this question. Like,
well, you named one of them already, Langoliers, and obviously Cal Raleigh would
Raleigh, Contreras, Langoliers, Will Smith, Ben Rice, Drake Baldwin, Salvador Perez. I think is comfortably ahead.
It's gonna be close.
Maybe that's the end of the list. I mean, because then you start wondering, like, I guess you still stick with Hunter Goodman, whatever. Didn't even get to course yet. You don't bail on that.
Yep.
Augustine Ramirez. At that point, it's like, yeah, he's probably around like, yeah, maybe he is considerable. Sam Basayo, I could probably keep him. But yeah, maybe he's a 12-team consideration,
Yeah, and if he's out there, obviously he's still hanging. I mean, we got him at 32% owned with the multiple different platforms that we're looking at. So he's out there somewhere.
Yeah, these are mostly CBS ownerships, if you are wondering about that. I take like I'm actually going to pull up the OC ownership too, but I take ESPN, Yahoo, because Fantasy Pros has a nice page where I can scrape it. I joined a CBS league. I did this thing. I'm one of the reasons that the ownership gets so bad. So just like a general talking point for fantasy baseball, and like to me to share my struggle, that you look at ownership from ESPN, Yahoo, and what you end up having is like those aren't even paid sites. Most of them, a lot of them are just like, maybe a 12-year-old kid that throws in a team because they whatever, or even an adult. You do the draft for fun, and then the league just there's no reason to keep up with it, and the leagues just die. So the ownership stays super low. Like you'll get these obviously a must-own players in August at 20% owned, and it just makes it really hard because we're not making content for those people, right? Like we're talking to people in competitive leagues. So CBS seems better. I think CBS has plenty of paid leagues. So whatever. I joined a free one. I just auto drafted it just so I could have this be in there to download the CSV to get the ownership and put it in here. So I'm part of the problem, I guess. But
you and your auto drafters are definitely part of the problem. That's also part of the problem with Yahoo is that if you accidentally click on the wrong button while you're trying to do something in Yahoo, and this has happened to me, all of a sudden you're in a league. What happened?
Yeah.
And so then you're like, I'm not going to pay attention to this league. I'm not even going to go to the draft. Good luck to you.
Right. Yeah. So if NFBC would give us a export all button, like I've talked to the owner about it. I was like, can you do that? And he's always like, I'll get back to you. And he's got a little, it's got some more important things on his plate, I think, than helping me out. Deep league hitters, well, okay, they're on the screen. Sorry, we should have gone to shallow league pitchers, but we've already shown it. Jordan Walker, maybe even, I'm giving him one more week of like hitting well and lifting the ball before I'm calling him like a 12-team ad. But how long will it take you to believe in Jordan Walker?
I want to believe because I picked up some orphan teams, and Jordan Walker seemed to be a common theme on those orphan teams. I'm sure those people had him as a guy who was going to hit 40 home runs for them, and when he hit 10, that wasn't great.
Dynasty stuff.
So I'm hoping that he's going to take off here, but we'll see. Every year is the year of hope for Jordan Walker, so we'll keep hope alive here at least for another couple weeks.
36% ground ball rate, a 23% K rate, 14% walk rate. He's been pretty patient, 21% barrel rate. So you just got to keep an eye on that ground ball rate. I'm guessing it floats back up to 50, but yeah, the guy's just really all he's ever needed to do, maybe it's overly simple to say, is lift the ball a little bit and let the bat speed you have play. But I don't know, 22 plate appearances. It's a good start for Jordan Walker, at least. Catcher, the probably number 2 on player raters right now. Maybe not yet. Liam Hicks. Never mind. He's not even close. But Liam Hicks, right? He has three home runs. That's the tied for second most among catchers. So that's a good start.
Yep, he's an interesting guy. Was a Rule 5 pickup last year. They kept him on the team all of last year, and he's stuck around. He is going to play catcher. He might play a little bit of first base, and he'll do a little DH. And I picked him up yesterday before he hit home run, so I was pretty excited about that, as I needed somebody to fill in for my catcher. So if you're looking for a fill-in, Liam might be the guy just for you.
Yeah, we saw a good bit of him last year without much success, and he wasn't like somebody anybody thought would be good. So it's probably just kind of a lucky run, but crazier things have happened. So if you're really hurting, there hasn't been a catcher injury yet, so we can't say like if you lost this guy, this is an option. But maybe you just are thinking that the world is going to end, like the apocalypse happens in a couple weeks, and you can drop Kyle Raleigh for Liam Hicks and just enjoy.
There you go.
Yeah, Brady House, this was your guy. Tell us.
Yeah, I'm going to keep pounding the Brady House table here. I'm a little surprised he's only at 20% now. He was probably closer to 15 last week, but obviously going in the right direction. I've been a Brady House fan since he was a prep star in the Atlanta area. Was a shortstop when he was drafted, but they all knew he was going to grow into a third baseman. He is that third baseman now. He is getting playing time and is in the lineup usually in the 3, 4, or 5 spot for the Nationals. And the power has always been his ticket. I think he's finally getting to that power in the majors. He got to it last year in AAA, so I'm expecting something this year. And really, this year is just sort of the growing to the next year and the next year and the next year after that. So he's definitely a dynasty target that you should be focused on. I'm excited about what he could be.
12.5% barrel rate, 276 expected batting average. Yeah, striking out a bit, but it's definitely
That's
an
what he
upside
does.
play. Yeah, it's
That's what he
upside
does.
power play. Definitely, maybe a longer term dynasty thing, but keep an eye on House. The Nationals will need him. TJ Rumfield. Yeah, so we were talking about how the Rockies haven't gone to Coors yet. I did the math. The Rockies and the Athletics now have 52%. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. 52% of the rest of their games at home. So I'm trying to click and here we go. Yeah. So you get a slight edge on the big home park advantage is 52% for Rumfield, who is hitting, I think, fourth, fifth. I can pull that up.
It seems like it's almost always fifth or in that area.
He's hit fifth. Yeah. It looks like he's only started 2 games, but that's probably going to have to change unless my tracker is wrong. But didn't have great minor league numbers, but he's a younger guy, I believe, and some reason to think.
He's
Anybody
25. So I guess in the prospect world, he's a much older hitter than usual. But he is a guy that has always hit for decent average. Not a ton of power, but not a ton of power could play pretty well in Coors. So we'll see what happens there. Off to a really good start. Hitting the ball, getting playing time.
Ton of line drives. Got a 56% sweep spot rate on 16 balls in play. So that's 9 line drives or something like that. So you're right. Line drives are what you want to do in Coors because that turns into doubles and triples more so than other places. And Luis Angel Acuna hitting 9th, kind of a bad team, but stealing bases when he can. I think he had a 2-steal game the other day. So if you need some steals,
that's your guy.
Acuna can do that for you. Back to pitchers.
Go ahead. Some outfield eligibility here eventually before the season's out. So
he'll have
position,
middle infield and outfield. That's always nice. I would have liked to do this podcast like 2 days later because the shallow league pitchers are Emerson Hancock, Kyle Harrison, Mick Abel, and Taj Bradley. Hancock's 50% owned, so that's a surprisingly high. Why are so many people have Hancock already? That's
because he was amazing on Sunday night.
Is that all it takes?
Everybody saw it, and everybody was getting their waiver wires ready, and everybody and their brother was picking him up. So, this might be probably late for those of you who had your waiver wire run on overnight Sunday into Monday, but I'm pretty sure that those who picked him up may be dropping him just as quickly. We'll see how he does. He has a good matchup against the Angels coming up, but somehow, Emerson was a highly touted prospect. I think he was the number 6 pick in the draft when he came out of Georgia. Always thought he was going to be something, but he never seemed to click it just right until Sunday night. All of a sudden, it all came together. So we'll see how long that lasts. I don't know if the Seattle voodoo will continue to follow him or not.
I know. So I put him on the list. I guess you wouldn't have. Would you? Would you?
I would. As speculative, but given the amount of people that picked him up already, I'm sure somebody blew a large amount of fab. In fact, I saw people blow a large amounts of fab on him on Sunday night.
I did. I think I blew it all on. I played 100 of 1,000, 10% of my budget on Lucas Urseg, which was probably an appropriate thing to do. Is the online championship where saves. I didn't have. I'm okay. I think I have Aroldis Chapman and Trevor McGill. But Urseg popped up. Seems like pretty clearly that he's going to be the closer now. It was kind of easy to see how much we just drafted him. But I think I spent 30 or something on Hancock, and I got him. I think the second bid for Urseg was 85, so I felt pretty good about that. Going 100, someone was behind me 85. So
you never want to be the guy that bids 150 on a guy who nobody else bid more than 5 on.
I know. I think I need to check. Somebody dropped in the in the redraft league for MLB Data Warehouse. We did a auction draft on Fantrax, and somebody drafted Connor Griffin. So it's 14 team redraft. Someone obviously drafted Connor Griffin, and I'm pretty sure they dropped him. And
run out there. He'll be out there Friday. I'm disappointed because I was getting ready to watch him here in Indy. I had it all set up. There was going to be an afternoon game while I was at work, and I was going to leave work and go watch him, and boom, he's already gone.
Yeah, dang. So if Connor Griffin is available, what percent of your budget do you spend on him? Like half, more?
In a
Somebody.
redraft league, maybe not as much, but
That's what we're talking
I
about.
can't imagine he'd be available in
Right,
any
right.
dynasty league anyway. So
But in a redraft, you wouldn't go crazy.
I guess it would depend on if I need steals, because I have a feeling he's going to be a guy that could steal 50 this year.
Yeah.
So, and
It's
that is rare to find. So
And I guess it's not
if
fantasy football where like I don't know if you're a fantasy football guy, but there was the thing 3 years ago with Puka Nakua, wasn't drafted at all, and then he had like 18 targets in week 1 or something like that. And like the right thing to do at the time and looking back was to spend every single dollar of your fab to get Puka Nakua. Like he was
yeah,
worth that and more. But football is a
hmm
whole different beast because baseball
yes,
you get spend worthy guys all the time.
yes. Well, and the other thing is that he's playing shortstop. So if I'm a contending team, chances are I already have a pretty good
Yeah.
shortstop. So I'm probably in a redraft. I'm probably not that super interested in him.
Fab and trade though. Do that. Pick him up and trade him.
Yeah, I would love to say that. I'm in way too many leagues where I can't get anybody to make a deal. So I'm dying on the vine with Spencer Horwitz as my first baseman, and I got I have like dominant young catchers. I got Goodman, Baldwin, Jensen, and Basayo. And anybody who needs a catcher doesn't want him.
Yeah.
Like what's wrong with these guys?
Tough.
Give me a first baseman. I'll take anybody.
Back to Hancock. I don't know. I don't want to be a stuff plus bro all of a sudden, but it's one start, and that's all we got to go on. Tim and I talked about this yesterday, where like if you're gonna look at stuff plus, it makes sense to do it in early April here. But last year, so the Hancock's advanced numbers on the pitch mix stuff are on the screen. That's just from his one outing this year. 97 pitches, by the way. It's kind of a good sign. But the four-seam fastball stuff plus via Pitch Profiler, MLBPitchProfiler.com, unofficial sponsor of the show because I take their data. So thank you. Seriously, great site. Go sign up for that, MLBPitchProfiler.com. But 103.4 stuff plus on 51 four-seamers. That is more than enough fastballs to stabilize in stuff plus. That's another one positive thing about that stat. And it was 53% usage. It's a little high, but last year, it's just a different pitcher. He was 26% four-seam usage and a 96.1% stuff plus. It's possible they changed the model. They retrain these things all the time. I don't know if they went back and redid it. I think it's fine though, because I went back and got there. I looked at this stuff plus, like what I just said about last year. That was a recent lookup. It wasn't last year where they might have rerun it in December or something like that. So it does look like his fastball is different. I don't want to say better because stuff plus stuff doesn't always mean better, but if you're going to believe in a breakout, you kind of want to see a change, a difference. And we see that with Hancock, higher stuff plus. The velo was actually a bit lower than last year, but that's part of the movement of it or whatever. I'm not the most well-versed on pitch shape stuff. But also just, more sweeper usage way up this year, 26%. Last year he was throwing 3% sweepers, 12% sliders. So even if there's some classification issues there, like he was less than 20% of the breaking balls, and now he was 26%. So to me, it's a reason to pick him up, like you said, like speculatively. What's the worst thing that happens? You just drop him because whatever. Like,
yeah, I would imagine you're holding him obviously this week. You're holding him next week, and see where you're at that time. Like you said, on the stuff plus, you'll have 3 starts in.
Yeah,
you'll know whether it's a thing or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch him whenever he starts next because that'll be interesting. Kyle Harrison is the other guy that I just don't think I would let either of these guys be hanging out if you probably have a bad pitcher or two on your team or an open slot or something, right? So Harrison won. So another guy, fastball last year, 101 stuff plus this year, up to 105. That's a big difference. It was a really nice outing for him. He had 8 strikeouts, 1 walk in his 5 innings, I believe. He threw 88 pitches. New team, another reason to kind of think that maybe the Brewers saw something, they targeted him, they changed something. I don't know. This is a guy with huge minor league numbers, always had like 30%, 40% K rates in the minors, and looks maybe a breakout. I don't know.
It's going to be very interesting because he obviously was with the Giants for a long time, was going to be one of their big pitching prospects.
Yeah.
That didn't happen because they dealt him to the Red Sox in the Rafael Devers deal. And then I, among other people, probably thought that the Red Sox would figure out how to get him right. And usually getting him right had to do with getting him to not throw balls, but throw strikes. And then the next thing you know, he's with the Brewers. So if he can take the two things that those two places can teach you and put them all together, he could have a fantastic season. I hope he does, because obviously he's on my uh, data warehouse
Oh, nice.
league team. So snuck him in as a $2 bid. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kyle
that's good.
Harrison.
I wish we could redo that. Can we redo that whole draft? I screwed that up so bad. I screwed up every draft I did. The only draft I did well this year were the OC, which is nice because that's $350, and then my home league, which is the home league is the most important thing. Like it's $50, and the money is totally irrelevant, but like I want to win that one way more than anything else. Okay, Mick Abel and Taj Bradley. Don't move right now. Let's see these two starts. Bradley's, as we said, he will have started on Thursday before we're talking about this right now before that game. So
yes,
if he gets bombed and walks a bunch of guys, then we didn't say this. But another guy, like, I know I'm the Stuff Plus idiot all of a sudden, but his Stuff Plus was way up. He had 9 strikeouts in his first start. We'll see what he does against the Royals. Mick Abel got bombed out of the bullpen, but I think it's fair to forgive him for that. Kind of a weird situation. He got skipped, I would say, but they wanted to get him some innings, and it didn't go well. But he's going to make a start against the Rays Saturday.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned. Both Abel and Bradley were pickups for the Twins last year. Obviously, Bradley with the Rays, Abel with the Phillies. Guys who have had good stuff, definitely shows good stuff, but whether they can control that good stuff has always been the question mark. I don't know that the Twins are the best place for them to be. I don't really feel like the Twins are a great place for developing pitching, and especially consistent pitching. And that's kind of what those guys need. We'll see what happens. This is going to be an interesting weekend for them. Will either probably push us one direction or the other.
I think they both will get strikeouts. I don't think there's much question about that.
Yes. But will that come with 4, 5, 6 walks, or in Bradley's case? Yeah, the Twins play in a field where you wouldn't expect there to be a lot of home runs, but there generally are, which is just
they they have these pitchers. They're all fly ball pitchers, every single one.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to think it's even a coincidence. It must be the kind of type they like to develop. I don't know. Not that it's worked, but
I don't know.
It worked with Joe Ryan, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Potential decent whip with both of them. I think. But ERA, he's going to go up some home runs. So maybe some league dependent stuff there. Deep pitchers, Garrett Clevenger, reliever, holds guy, or what do you think?
Yes, if you were a Jax believer, thinking he was going to be the guy who was going to get the saves for the Rays, he's gotten bombed to begin the season. I have him on one of my teams, and I'm just sort of beside myself. Like, this happens with him all the time. So Clevenger also got bombed in his first spot, but then came in the second time and got a win. I'm interested to see where he lands. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are thinking about Edwin.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah. Who's yeah?
Sorry,
Griffin Jax. Nice. The Rays situation is always fluid when it comes to their bullpen. So give a chance to Garrett. He might be the guy. Who knows what will happen there?
Yeah, I put up this tweet from Sleeper Rays because they used this picture. It was like, it says Griffin Jax has not been as advertised this season. 2 innings, 8 runs, 5 earned runs, and like this picture they used of him is so funny. He's just like falling over, or I don't know. If you turn on the video real quick, if you can, unless you saw it, it's just like, man, this is like not a nice thing to do to the guy. It looks like he's getting shot or something like that. But it's okay. They're pro athletes; they'll be fine. But yeah, I thought that was so funny. Just like this brutal picture of the guy. But I wouldn't be moving off Griffin. Someone asked me if they should drop Griffin Jax for like some kind of schlub hitter. I said no. Just like, hold on, man. Let's not react to 2 innings. But that's okay. So there's a little bit of setup stuff. We have a bullpen article too from a secret source, a guy that doesn't want to be named or known. So it looks like it comes from me, but it doesn't. So every Tuesday, Wednesday, he goes through one league at a time, one league a week, and goes through each closer setup man situation. So you can check that out if you're looking for some holds. That'll be pretty helpful. Landon Roop, Giants guy. We did this last year. some good and some bad, but good start to start the year, and you marked him down for a deep league.
Yeah, and if you can get him starting at home, that's really where you want him to start. If you have daily lineup changes, he's definitely a guy that I would be interested in. And he's on the rise. He was doing pretty well last year, and then got dinged up, and then was gone. So now that he's healthy again, appears to be a guy that will get you some quality starts and put up decent numbers. Not great, but decent. So you can definitely get him pretty cheap.
Here's the profile. If you're watching from the last 2 years, this would include his start this year. So the strikeouts are okay, 22%. That's league average. Doesn't look like a big home run issue or anything like that. It's a pretty high 46% ground ball rate. Not elite, but that's good. You like that. 387 slugging he's allowed. So all good, just so, some mixture of not great walk stuff, maybe not as efficient. I don't know really what the story was. He had some low pitch counts last year, just inconsistent. But yeah, I mean, deep pitch mix. No, I guess not really. Sinker, curve for about 70% of his pitches, changeup, cutter, four-seamer. So not quite the same level of upside as the guys we talked about, but maybe probably quite a bit safer than Abel, Bradley, etc.
Well, and he has the one skill that I look for in my streaming pitchers. I have a pretty good idea as to when he's going to pitch well. And that's usually when he's at home.
Yeah, there you go. It's really things haven't changed in San Francisco, but looks like the Giants lineup doesn't matter for Root, but there's gonna be some really low scoring games in San Francisco. They're just not a good offense, and they've actually built a decent pitching staff with Ray and Webb and Roop and whoever else is there.
They love their defense, so that's good for the pitchers.
Yeah. All right. Oh, sorry, McCullers. I threw him on here at the last second. I wouldn't actually do this. Like, I wouldn't be spending more than like $1 or $2 on McCullers if you just want like the matchup or something like that. But what was it? 10 strikeouts? It was something crazy with one walk.
The crazy part for me is that he pitched, I think, 7 innings, which I'm like, that guy's arm has just been hanging on by a thread for the last 4 or 5 years. The interesting thing was that they said he didn't throw a lot of his curveball, which is what he has always been known for. Right. And I'm wondering if that's to hopefully make it so that he's healthy enough to go more than 50 or 60 innings.
Yeah, he threw 21% curveballs in that start, a sinker at 33% usage with a 92 mile an hour velocity. It wasn't, he landed it for strikes, threw it in the zone a bunch and didn't get whiffs, but whatever, it's a sinker. You can live with that. It was a 83% ground ball rate. That was probably what is 3? Wouldn't be 3 batted balls. What can you make 83% out of? 4, 6, 5, no, 7, 5 out of 6 out of 7, something like that, like that. So the sinker for ground balls. He threw a cutter. He threw that curveball was really good, but a little bit less usage. And maybe throwing more sinkers and more cutters probably do carve off some walks because you can command those pitches a little bit better. So I don't know. I have trouble believing that all of a sudden Lance McCullers is going to be a thing, but if you're really desperate, maybe we'll see. That is, those are the main guys that we wrote down. I just did a few more things here. There's a resource that I guess is only for me and John right now, but I may very well publish it out. I just did it this morning. Just some guys, some hitter guys for deep leagues. These are players. We're not going to talk about them. I'm just going to read you the names. If you're watching, you've already seen them, but these are guys hitting near the top of the lineup and starting. They've all started at least every game but one. They've all sat a max of one time. So TJ Friedel has played every game and let off. Nolan Schanuel already mentioned he's hit third. This is the median lineup spot. So don't quote me on that being it every day, but this is where the median has been so far. Willie Castro has played every day for the Rockies, hitting third. Jake Cronenworth has been hitting fourth, third, second, playing every day. Ezekiel Tovar, you mentioned him. He's a cleanup hitter. Jake Berger, 45% owned, looking good. He's played every day, hitting cleanup. Same with Manzardo. Not the looking good part, Manzardo, but cleaning up, playing every day. Mason Wynn, car crash. Guess he's okay, but he's played every day. Also a cleanup hitter, not what you'd expect, but 30% owned Mason Wynn, get some steals, get a little bit of power, and going to play as much as possible with his defense. Matt Wallner also has played every day. They must not have seen a lefty yet, maybe one or something. Jorge Soler, Carter Jensen, Yohan Moncada, and Jung-Hoo Lee. Wouldn't recommend Moncada, but the rest of those names, super deep leagues, they're playing a lot. And sorry, those are playing a lot in addition to being near the top of the lineup. And then a lot of repeat names. I'll just leave this here for you to look at. What's on the screen now is just other super low owned guys that have started every game. Cam Smith is here, Josh Bell, Nick Gonzalez, rest in peace. He will not be playing every day now. With Griffin coming up, Harrison Bader, Cole Young, also Cole Young probably not long for it, with JP Crawford coming back and maybe a Cole Emerson promotion at some point. Kyle Karros, Andres Menez, Victor Scott, Brian Rocchio, Casey Schmidt, and Leo Rivas, another guy that'll lose playing time when Crawford comes back. But just trying to help you out, get you as many names as possible, because I know like a lot of people play in these leagues where none of these guys are owned that people are talking about. So trying to get some names that maybe people can explore a little bit more. So that's it. Anything else to add, John?
One name on here that I'm very interested in, Cam Smith. His manager was just talking maybe 2 days ago about how he expects him to get 15 to 20 steals this year, which would be amazing. And for those of you who ran out there and picked up Jose Fernandez from the Diamondbacks because you were like, oh, look at that, 2 home runs. Please remember Cam Smith is a good poster child for prospects who don't spend a lot of time in the upper minors and then get thrown into the major leagues and play pretty well for a little while, and then the league adjusts. So Jose Fernandez, a guy that I probably would put on my list of don't blow all your fab on him, because I think he's going to be good for this month, but then they're going to adjust.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch. I mean, he wasn't in anybody's top prospects, whatever. It's kind of out of nowhere. Maybe just
I wasn't even in the top 40 for the Diamondbacks by themselves. So, an interesting prospect, a big guy. They got a shortstop who's now playing first base, so that's a little interesting too. That you'd have to learn a new position in the major leagues. Also, a little bit troublesome in terms of what you're going to do for hitting wise. And we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously the Diamondbacks have an opening there at first base. A guy who's much more valuable as a shortstop playing first base kind of diminishes his prospect excitement. But I guess if you need a first baseman, like I need a first baseman, maybe that's a guy you want to get.
Yeah. If you're in these leagues with John, throw him a bone, man. Take
exactly. Give me a first baseman.
Take one of these catchers from him. So Cam Smith, I like that call out as well. He's swinging the bat probably too hard. You would say he's probably a little bit too hard, but he's got skills for sure.
I like the exuberance.
Yeah, it's early. Everybody's excited. So that'll do it. Week 2 waivers. This will be a written article as well if you want the names. If you want to just go back and look at them rather than having to listen through this again. MLBDataWarehouse.com. There's a big sale going on right now, 20% off subscriptions. So now's the time to jump on. Give that a look. MLBDataWarehouse.com/subscribe, or just look at the recent posts I'm talking about. That's it for us. We will talk to you next time. Thanks for being here.